Welcome to Get You Some, where you can get you some of this and a little bit of that. One of the things that I have been following is the lore of the SCP Foundation. I have been following them for a while now, and the lore continues to grow and become more interesting. Today, I want to go over what I think are 5 of the most powerful SCPs so far. SCP-3812 is a reality-altering entity. Due to SCP-3812's latent effect on reality, it is nearly impossible to describe SCP-3812 in any meaningful way. All that is known about SCP-3812 is that it was once Sam Howell, a non-anomalous African-American human being, who was believed to have died in 1996. Sometime shortly after its death, SCP-3812 was observed rising out of its grave and disappearing. SCP-3812 was brought to the Foundation's attention after its presence resulted in the demolition of an apartment building in Warsaw, Poland. Due to its anomalous capabilities, SCP-3812's appearance varies significantly, making it exceedingly difficult to track. SCP-3812 is currently located at 26°26'49" S 137°56'27" W over the South Pacific Ocean. SCP-3812 exhibits signs of an extremely advanced Eigenmann-Viter schizophrenia complex 4, specifically, extreme paranoia, extreme dysphoria, extreme mania/depression, inability to properly perceive their surroundings, inability to discern the difference between the real and imagined, inability to differentiate between living and dead beings, inability to control expressions of emotion, hearing voices that are not there, seeing things that are not there, feeling or otherwise experiencing stimuli that do not exist, etc. 5. In the 20 years since SCP-3812 was initially discovered, these symptoms have grown steadily worse. Originally, SCP-3812 was responsive to questioning and sought help in managing its condition from Foundation researchers. Over time, SCP-3812 became more isolated and withdrawn, eventually becoming entirely unresponsive and acting in erratic and unpredictable ways. Currently, SCP-3812 is not able to accurately perceive the world around it, and will occasionally alter reality in order to diminish the discrepancy between how it perceives something and the way that something is in actuality. Due to this, it is impossible to know how often reality has been modified, only how often SCP-3812 has not created a clean alteration 7 and has left behind evidence of its influence on reality. SCP-3812 is impossible to contain within any form of containment cell. SCP-3812 will alter reality to remove the containment cell, or move itself to another location, drastically impeding containment efforts. SCP-3812 seems to subconsciously resist attempts at containment, as well. Even if it is caught unaware, SCP-3812 cannot be tranquilized or amnesticized, as SCP-3812 will alter reality to remove or eliminate any threats to itself or its freedom of movement. Because of this, current containment efforts focus on mitigating damage and expressions of SCP-3812 symptoms as opposed to outright containment. Over time, SCP-3812 has become significantly less humanoid in appearance, and is now only vaguely humanoid and occasionally manifests in a variety of shapes and appearances. Additionally, SCP-3812 produces a latent anomalous effect on local reality, specifically in the form of temporal and spatial distortions surrounding the entity. These distortions are occasionally accompanied by random, violent outbursts that may dramatically shift or damage local space and time. While SCP-3812 is usually docile and aimless, its random outbursts are invariably fatal to any living creature nearby, and can be extremely disastrous on a massive scale if not properly contained. SCP-3812 manifested in its current form at its current location on July 19, 2015. SCP-2217 is the entirety of the beach on the island of Redacted, Greece. The sand of SCP-2217 is composed of non-anomalous silicates and calcium compounds, as well as several cationic metallic particles, which hold their charge despite being grounded. These particles partially act as a catalyst for the anomaly related to SCP-2217. SCP-2217 also houses a small silicate cliff at the northernmost end, the interior of which is affected by the anomaly. Natural processes that take place in SCP-2217, including the decay of sea life that washes up on it, erosion of the shoreline, lightning strikes, made more frequent due to the aforementioned cation content, and other weather conditions, result in the creation of structures and devices that are seemingly artificial in nature, collectively designated SCP-2217-A. Notable SCP-2217-A instances include several forms of machinery, ranging from simple timepieces to complex automatons, which are constructed from fulgurites and are often found buried under the sand of SCP-2217 following lightning strikes. Apart from their circumstances of creation, these items do not have anomalous properties and are fully functional. Jewelry evidently fashioned from sea glass and other waste products, such as discarded light bulbs, hulls of ships, and animal bones. Jewelry often resembles or bears religious iconography used by the Broken Church. A model of a large city, designated SCP-2217-A1. SCP-2217-A1 is located in a grotto within a cliff on SCP-2217, accessible only via an underwater entrance. Structural elements in SCP-2217-A1 appear to correspond to an unknown ancient Greek city, with a temple bearing the word Kappa Theta Rho Alpha 1. SCP-2217-A1 bears several forms of religious iconography related to all three factions of the Church of the Broken God. However, despite the apparently Greek architecture, geographical features more closely resemble those found near Lake Baikal and southern Siberia, Russia. Analysis appears to show that SCP-2217-A1 was carved entirely by natural forces such as tidal erosion. SCP-2217 is considered a holy site by the Broken Church, a splinter faction of the Church of the Broken God. A piece of scripture used by the religion, the Book of Rites, describes SCP-2217. SCP-610 were storming the town, destroying buildings and devouring humanoid figures. No individual figures were seen in SCP-2217-A1 prior to this incident. SCP-3125 is kept inside Cognitohazard Containment Unit 3125 on the first floor of Site-41. This containment unit is a 10M by 15M by 3M cuboidal room clad in layers of lead, soundproofing, and telepathic shielding. Access is through an airlock system at one end of the containment unit. This airlock is programmed to allow only one person to enter the containment unit at a time, and to remain locked until this person exits before allowing another person to enter. Under no circumstances may any coherent information be allowed to leave the containment unit. This includes written and electronic notes, photographs, audio and video recordings, sound, electromagnetic and particle-based signals, and psi emanations. During the exit cycle, a purge system rigged to the airlock flushes the occupant's memory by flooding the airlock with amnestic gas for 3 minutes. A senior Antimemetics Division staff member must visit SCP-3125 every 6 weeks, 42 days. End of file. SCP-2845 is a quadruped entity, measuring 2.9 meters in height at the shoulder and weighing 815 kilograms. A sinuous neck, generally held in an upright position, extends a further 0.5 m, terminating in a head with humanoid facial features. SCP-2845 possesses antlers, measuring 4.8 meters across. Antlers are white with black marbling in coloration and have not been observed to shed. SCP-2845 is covered in hair with an average length of 10 centimeters, with the exception of the face, which is hairless. SCP-2845's coloration is primarily a pastel green, with a stripe of cream on the underside of the neck and belly. A ring of ice particles is suspended 15 centimeters behind SCP-2845's skull, measuring 1.7 m in diameter, with a ring thickness of 35 centimeters. This ring is interrupted at regular intervals by 7 spheres consisting of metallic hydrogen and metallic helium, each measuring 15 centimeters in diameter. The ring and spheres rotate clockwise at a speed of 1.6 rpm. The force maintaining the movement of the ring, the physical state of the spheres, and the means by which SCP-2845 is capable of supporting its head under the weight of its antlers are unknown. SCP-2845 is capable of instantaneous transmutation and reconstruction of matter. No matter is created or destroyed during this process. This property is manifested at will, with an observed range extending to targets within eyesight. Maximum range of this ability is unknown. Transmuted matter will remain stable despite the lack of other factors. For example, metallic hydrogen and helium are common results, which will remain in either solid or liquid form despite the surrounding temperature. Altered atmosphere will not mix with unaltered regions, maintaining chemical consistency. The most common transmutation results are the solid or liquid forms of hydrogen and helium, the conversion of atmosphere into a hydrogen/helium/ammonia mix, and the transmutation of plant life into metalloid-based organisms. SCP-2845 will typically surround itself with a transmuted area with a radius of approximately 5 meters at all times. SCP-2845 has proven itself completely resistant to physical damage. The most common forms of offensive transmutation used by SCP-2845 are a column measuring 5 to 7 meters in diameter and 60 to 80 meters in height, or a horizontal cone measuring between 100 and 150 meters in length and 10 to 30 meters in width at the furthest end. However, SCP-2845 has been observed to attack single targets at distances of up to 10 kilometers. Early observation of SCP-2845 during recovery indicated that it will generally ignore noncombatants, focusing on retaliation against attackers. However, SCP-2845 was not seen to make any attempts to spare noncombatants within the area of effect of its transmutations, and later recovery accounts indicate preemptive attacks against both military and civilian targets. SCP-2845-1 designates human beings that have been modified by SCP-2845. Instances of SCP-2845-1 are hexagonal columns measuring 2.4 meters in height, with rubbery yellow-green skin. SCP-2845-1 instances do not have any outward sense organs, and autopsy has shown that internal organs are likewise absent, save the brain, which now takes up the entirety of the column and contains the reconstituted mass of the other organs and some additional outside materials. It is unknown how SCP-2845-1 instances derive nutrients, or if any nutrition is required. Neuroimaging of SCP-2845-1 specimens has revealed that the brain is in a constant state of high activity. Analysis of multiple specimens indicates patterns of call and response, so some form of remote communication between SCP-2845-1 specimens is presumed. Modal variants of SCP-2845-1 have been reported, but have evaded capture and study. Description: SCP-343 is a male, seemingly raceless, humanoid in appearance with apparent omnipotence. SCP-343 was discovered walking the streets of Prague and detained after a staff member witnessed him disappear from the streets and reappear on a rooftop. SCP-343 is detained willingly in his chamber, as containment has proved impossible. See notes. Addendum #343-1 SCP-343, colloquially nicknamed God by the staff here, looks like an older man, although his features are different to each observer. In my first talk with him, he claimed outright to be the creator of the universe. When I asked him to prove this, he laughed, walked through the wall of the chamber, and returned seconds later with a hamburger in his hand. When I returned for a second visit, the previously bare cell had been furnished in upscale, Old English style, complete with a roaring fireplace, and seemed many times larger than it did from the exterior. SCP-343 greatly enjoys speaking with people, and seems to have a knowledge of all topics. Visiting with SCP-343 has become a daily event for many of the staff here, and all employees report feeling generally happier after each visit. Attempts to bar staff below Level 3 clearance have proven unsuccessful, as guards assigned to watch the room quit their posts, saying he likes company or shrugging when questioned. Since SCP-343 has thus far been harmless, all staff have been allowed access, and somehow they all have time to meet with him for as long as they need. For now, I leave this report open as further questioning of SCP-343 is ongoing. Dr. Beck. These were 5 of the most powerful SCPs that I can think of so far. If you disagree, leave a comment. If you agree, also leave a comment. Like and subscribe for more lore.